right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for Split Decision, your weekly MMA podcast brought to you from the Split Decision Studios. Bueller and Dodge on the mics. We bring you the MMA news, we recap fights, and of course, we preview upcoming fights as well. The show is being produced, of course, by the Ruloff brothers, and I guess we can just get down to it. I mean, right?
Jumping into the news.
Yeah, well, we got Fight Fans Radio Network. We got to show some love to. Of course, they support us. They put us out there on the Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iTunes. But guess what? We have Spreaker and Stitcher and stuff like that too. Do we have SoundCloud?
SoundClouds are major.
SoundClouds are major. We're also on Spreaker. If you can help us get to 100 followers, you'll be able to hear us on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, and that would be fan-freaking-tastic. So help us out. Get some, follow us wherever you can. Even our Facebook is Split Decision MMA on the Facebook. Also, we got Twitter. We got everything. SplitDecisionMMA.com is our official website. Just find us where you can. Follow us where you can. Help us get on iHeartRadio because that would be awesome. Then we'd big time all you guys.
Yeah.
We would snub all of our fans after that because we'd be on iHeartRadio. We wouldn't talk to you anymore.
You a hype man?
Yeah. What? Yeah. What? Okay, news.
All right, so kicking off our first story of the show is
Titan Fighting Championships is getting a deal with CBS Sports.
Big thanks for the heads up on Google Plus on this one.
Yeah.
Somebody asked a question about it, and we looked it up, and lo and behold.
Yeah, Titan FC 27 will be debuting February 28th. That's going to be headlined by Mike Ritchie and George Gurgel.
George Gurgel found a home?
Good for him.
Now, here's the thing, though, is that we were looking up MMA on CBS, and not only is there CBSMMA.com that has absolutely nothing to do with MMA, it's like Media Management Association or something, but also they apparently signed Glory last year.
I thought we talked about this at one point last year, that they were going to maybe...
It's entirely possible.
If we have, we're revisiting.
Yeah, we're definitely revisiting that. Glory was supposed to get a television deal with CBS Sports.
The good reason to revisit those because I don't recall this ever happening.
I never watched it.
Glory number 7.
Anything.
Yeah, Glory number 7 was supposed to happen it was supposed to come in from Milan, and it was going to be on tape delay. Giorgio Pedrosian going up against Hafid El Busanti, and it was supposed to air on April 21st, but none of us recall this.
And then they were also supposed to have Glory 8 in May, and I never saw it.
Interesting.
But we did watch Glory 9 recently.
Yeah.
No, you watched Glory whole.
I did not peek into it.
Also known as Glory 0.
I'm so tired of the Facebook rumors.
So Din Thomas found a new home, a new idea anyway?
He has a new idea, yeah. So basically he's creating a project called the MMA Scouting Report. So he says he wants to do what Mike Dolce does for dieting, only he wants to do it for guys who have upcoming fights. He wants to go to fights and basically put a bunch of notes on how to defeat these guys. Like, watch their fights constantly and figure out the holes in their game, and then say you have a fight with somebody, he'll come to you, and you could get all your, the dirt on the guy you're supposed to fight.
Oh, okay. See, when I read scouting, I read it completely differently.
I thought he was going to be looking
for... Like a baseball scout type thing.
Yeah, no, see, Uriah Faber already has that. It's called the MMA Combine, where he has guys come and do, basically, like they do the Combine, where you have to come, have matches, and they want to see your jiu-jitsu skills, they want to see your boxing, and it's the up-and-coming guys.
Has he checked if Roger Goodall has the copyright on Combine?
You better check on that.
Yeah, you better check on that.
Roger Goodall made up the word, and it's his. Well, my question is there anybody who does scouting for the UFC officially, or do they just kind of troll other organizations like, oh, this guy's doing pretty good?
I'm sure a lot of the times they go to a lot of the gyms, and they talk to the different trainers and that. Who's up and coming? Who do you got? Like who's building a name for yourself? Who's building a record? So I mean, that's,
I don't understand what this has to do with dieting, though.
No, he's saying he wants to be like the Mike Dolce. Mike Dolce basically is the guy to go to for dieting. He wants to be the guy to go to for scouting.
Oh, I was like...
Former professional that is now switched over.
Oh, so he wants people to say, well, did you pull the Din Thomas report on this kid?
Correct.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
I was thinking that Mike Dolce went and scouted other people's diets. I didn't understand how that worked. Like, how is this helping?
I mean, much like, okay, so point in case here, we have Joe Ellenberger, brother of Jake Ellenberger, is now signed to a 4-fight UFC contract. He's 14-1 in the regional shows, and he just got a 4-fight deal. So again, somebody who his brother has a name, he's been fighting in the UFC. Hey, you're building up. I mean, look at Showtime Pettis' brother. You know what I mean?
Right.
Been training for a long time, fighting in the lower leagues.
And these are twin brothers.
The McDonald's, right? There's 3 of them now, right?
Yep.
They're multiplying.
It'd be really interesting.
Someone fed him after midnight.
So our Nurmagomedov and
can't we just be serious for once, guys?
Khabib Nurmagomedov and Gilbert Melendez fight for UFC 170 is scrapped. Dana White said this is not going to be happening. He has other plans for Nurmagomedov.
For Nurmagomedov, not
Gilbert Melendez.
well. Maybe he ultimately has another opponent for Gilbert Melendez.
Let's hope so.
Because I think Melendez is a little too high up the ladder for Nurmagomedov.
I believe so. So, Kung Lee was coming back from the Ultimate Fighter China and talking about how they have probably one of the least experienced competitors in the show's history. They actually have a yoga instructor
Who has no
MMA record at all. Somehow squeaked his way onto the show.
not like Amir Sadallah, who had training but was 0-0.
He was at least training with a legitimate camp, though.
Right.
Like, this is a yoga instructor
Gonna slap you down with some Tai Chi.
who made it onto the show, and he says he does not know. He says it was a decision that I had to make. If you haven't watched Jetties, I won't ruin it. But one of the coaches had to go and put a little hurt on him and let him feel what punches in 4-ounce gloves feel like. So I'm guessing he doesn't make it past the entry round, but somehow he made it on the show.
That's really weird because
That's China, man. They want weird stuff like that.
No, it's the push. It's the push to get into these markets that aren't really ready. That's the problem.
Well, I mean, I know somebody who's been through the Ultimate Fighter tryouts twice, and over here in the States, you couldn't. There's no way you could just be a yoga instructor.
Oh,
No.
our cup runneth over in the 50 states, bud.
Our cup runneth over at the local bar.
So after his loss on the show that was on the Fight Pass, the show that they had in Singapore, Ultimate Fight Night 34, right?
Yep.
Quinn Mulhern, after losing, has now retired. He originally started, he was 15-1, came over to the UFC, or went over to Strikeforce, he was 3-1, came to the UFC, he's 0-2.
That's what happens in the big leagues,
He's
kids.
decided to retire at the age of 29.
I think it's dumb for him to retire, though. I mean, that's a killer record to have, 15-1. So
If he knows he can't hack it,
But I don't think you should make a hasty decision after a fight. You get beat, okay? Then you go, you take your medicine, you go home, you regroup. You got to think about it for a little bit. Okay, if this kid was 15-1 when he came over to fight in the States, right? Then he goes to 18-2. So now what is he? He's 18-4. That's still not a terrible record.
No.
You know, he could regroup. He could go to a different camp. He could learn a different game style. I mean, he's obviously got some experience underneath his belt.
Now, when they say they retire, does that mean that they're going to cut a contract short, or is he somebody that they didn't have another contract for?
I really do. I'm pretty sure it's fight-by-fight basis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, sometimes you get 2 fights. Most of the time it's fight by fight, especially on the lower ends.
Well, because I've just been hearing a lot of 3, 4, and then who was it? Diego got 8.
Yeah.
Those are the names, though.
Yeah,
No, I understand
Not only that,
that.
but you get a 4-fight contract, and if they decide they don't want to use you, they just pay you for your fights. You're done.
Okay. Because I also remember him saying, if I have you for a year, that means 3 fights, and if I don't give you 3 fights, you still get paid for 3 fights.
Exactly. Again, they have to pay you for your contract. So if
Okay.
that's what they tried to do with Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt came over from Pride. Is they wanted to buy out his last 4 fights on his contract.
And he refused.
He said, "No, let me fight." They said,
And now look at him.
They said, "We'll double your money," and then they said, "No, let me fight." And look at him now.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing the comeback that kid's made, honestly.
Yeah. So we have Dominic Cruz.
Oh my
This was
God,
talked
dude.
about but this is the best part. It's finally happening. It's finally
Right.
happening. On SportsCenter, Dana White announced Dominic Cruz has been injured again and will be unable to fight for the bantamweight title at UFC 170 against Renan Barão. He is now being stripped of his title.
Good.
And this is for the vacant title, Barão versus Faber. Faber is coming in and stepping in for him to fight.
Now I thought that Faber was set to fight somebody else, or did I just see a
Later on.
Later on, he was to fight the winner.
Of
this fight.
Of this fight.
I saw a fake poster or something.
He got the number 1 contendership spot after beating Michael McDonald. That was for the number 1 contender, and now he was
Right,
going to fight the winner of Dominic Cruz versus Barão.
No, I understand. I understand
Yeah.
that now, but I literally saw a poster this week that had Faber faced off with some other.
Oh, there's been major trolls.
Yeah.
but it looked legit. I just didn't research
Was
it.
it
So
was it Liz Carmouche?
It was Liz
He
Carmouche.
was fighting himself.
He was looking in a mirror, just like in the mirror.
So, do you think Faber's going to change his game plan to be able to actually beat Barão, or do you think Barão's just too tenacious and
I don't know if he comes out hungry like he did when he chased McDonald around.
he comes out every time it's not a title fight?
This is allegedly. This is a new game that we've seen from Faber, though. I would like to think that he's going to bring that same game plan every time that he comes in the cage from this point forward, because he's found what he needs to win. That thing that he lost for so long seems that it's back.
His first fight against Barão was the first fight that Bang coached him in. So, has the game plan changed? Or are they going to be like, yeah, we'll just stick to what we did last time, but better?
But better.
I mean, honestly, we won't know till he gets in the ring.
I think
Yeah.
that they should stick to the same thing, but better, because obviously he's improved a lot since then. Everybody in that camp's
Definitely
improved
improved,
with Bang Ludwig.
Do you think he needs to stick to his wrestling for that fight? maybe hearten down a little bit more on the wrestling instead of trying to stand there with him?
He shouldn't try to go blow for blow with him at all. He should definitely try to mix it up with the takedowns 100%. But the thing about Faber that's so fun to watch is when he gets all unorthodox and starts doing crazy things, with the exception of a spinning back elbow.
To nobody there.
That's what keeps people guessing.
I like that Mike Brown stepped back and was like, wow, that was cool. Now I'm going to hit you in the face.
Yeah. But it is, and that's one of the best things about Faber is that he keeps you guessing, and one of his biggest tool in his toolbox is his wrestling, and if he's not using that to keep you guessing on what he's going to do, then his striking's not going to be as effective against somebody like Barao.
Very true.
Hey, I sounded smart for a minute.
So, Mr. Jacob Christopher...
Prepared. That's what you sounded like. You were prepared.
I read something this morning. I don't know.
Jacob Christopher Ortiz has been busted for a DUI, also known as Tito.
Really?
Yes. Apparently, he was driving northbound on the I-405. He lost control and struck a concrete center median.
I heard he was drunk with power because he was going to be helping some female MMA fighters.
I don't think he was drunk. I think he just leaned his head too far to one side.
The car swerved. He has that special neck brace that holds it into place.
It's like a snow globe. All the snow went to one side.
Like the whole car with him.
If you crank up his ear, it plays a song.
I kind of wonder if that has anything to do with the recent Janet Jameson stuff that's come out. She I don't know if you heard about this or not.
No.
We could touch on it briefly. She went on, apparently, somebody Janet Jameson was involved with doing her PR stuff was basically got all of her passwords and everything because he was working for her, and then turned out to be a fake. And then started messing with all of her online stuff. Ooh. As far as her credit, her Twitter, everything from money to just PR things. So she goes on 4chan to Anonymous /B and says, "Look, I'm the real Jenna Jameson." Holds up a sign, says, "I'm the real Jenna Jameson. I've heard that you guys could probably help me. This is what happened." She explains the entire situation. No, first she explained it, and they go, "No, we need proof." So she takes a picture of her holding up, "I'm Jenna Jameson. Please, no tits or GTFO." But immediately she gets tits or GTFO. so she does tits or GTFO, and then she takes a few extra pictures, and then when 4chan actually comes through with everything on this guy. From his social security number to his current address, driver's license pictures.
You don't mess with 4chan.
Bank numbers.
We love you, 4chan. If you're listening, we love you.
I hella love you, 4chan. I'm not even kidding, dude. We had some anonymous people on the webcam one day, and I was like, just be nice. In the studio, I'm not like, don't fuck with them. They'll shut this whole station down. Came back with everything that this guy had, all of his personal information, and then she gave him an extra picture too.
Oh,
yeah, it was kind of nice.
Moaning Cavern.
It was. She's pretty beat up, but I'll probably still hit it.
Just to say,
yeah, I slept with Jenna Jameson. I don't have to say when, right?
Never have to admit it.
It's like the T-shirt "I choked Linda Lovelace."
It's like if you nailed a chick in high school, she was like one of those don't tell your friends, like a moped. But then you see her 10 years later, she's smoking high. Tell people you nailed it. You don't have to say when, what she looked like. Right?
Sure.
That's a rule.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Matt Serra's in a little trouble.
It's worse when you bang a hottie and they get fat later. You can't admit to it at all. What did Matt Serra do?
So if you were switching around between the audios for UFC 168 where Anderson Silva snapped his leg against Chris Weidman, you can hear Matt Serra in the corner say, "Fuck him." Good. I'm glad it happened. Fuck him.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Wow, what a dick.
But everyone, of course, took offense about it. He said, "Look, what I was trying to say was, I didn't know his leg was broken. I just knew he got hurt and fell down." He's like, "I actually thought Chris threw punches." So he says, this is being transcribed here. He says, "I heard the thing, and at first I was like, oh, what did Longo say?" And then I was like, oh, fuck, that was me." None of us saw what happened. We just saw him drop. I didn't see Chris throw strikes. For 2 months, me and Longo are talking every night. "All right, listen, man. He does this. He does these shenanigans. This is where you're going to fuck him. This is where the kid's going to go. He's going to fuck him. This is where Chris is going to get him. If he gets him here on the floor, I swear this is how we're going to go. This is going to fuck the guy." That's how we talk. I hate to say it, but I'm being honest with you. As far as Chris, we even tell him the mentality and the mystique of this guy. No, fuck him, dude. He's stepping in the cage with you.
It's a combat sport.
Yeah. He says, "I didn't see it till the next day."
Do we have to put not safe for work on this podcast?
When everything started to break.
I have put explicit, yes.
We're not heartless pricks. We're not bad sportsmen. He's got kids. He's got people who love him. The first thing I did when I knew it was me is got Ed Soares' number, and gave him a